There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The storm is now making sure.
The Miami Hurricanes Watch with host Mike McCoy is on. The Watch is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. Time for hardcore Miami Hurricanes talk. Here's your host, Mike McCoy.
Good evening, everybody. What is today? Tuesday, December 20th. Guys, we are late in the year. It's crazy how quickly it got here, at least for me. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's holiday season is treating them very well. Hope the end of the new year is going just as planned, and the prep for the new year, the ending of the year. Did I say new year? The ending of the year is going just as planned, and the prepping for the new year is going well. I hope those Christmas trees are up. I hope everybody is doing great. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Feliz Navidad, right? So tomorrow's actually Christmas Day for Miami Hurricanes football fans that follow recruiting, college football fans that follow recruiting. Tomorrow is National Signing Day 2022, the early signing period. And this is it, guys. This is everything that's all the hype of Mario that has been surrounding him. This is it. This is what everybody's been waiting for, to see what he can pull after he was on campus for about a hot 5 minutes last December and managed to reel in a top 15 class after that class was ranked, I believe, in the 50s, mid 50s, maybe 60s when he was actually hired. Managed to, pull in some names, some unexpected ones, and like I said, pulled in a top 15 class. Miami, as of right now, for the 2023 class, after one whole year of Mario building relationships and recruiting and actually coaching football, has a top 3 class according to 247 Sports, a composite ranking of what? Yeah, they're the third best team in terms of composite ranking, recruit-wise. Composite ranking is pretty much the average of all the major sites. And then 247 actually has them listed as the number 3 team class as well. Exciting times. We got to talk about transfer portal. We got to talk about tomorrow. maybe a little bit of depth chart, and just any questions anybody has in the chat. I apologize for not making it on last week. I had to take care of a little thing called schoolwork, finals week. Had to get that out of the way. But we're back this week, and where do I start, man? I mean, I don't know if you guys have any questions in there that maybe you want to throw in, but let's start with the recent decommitment, right? Miami had three tight ends, and by the way, this is a recent decommitment, like a couple hours ago. Reed McCeska decommits again, and when I say again, not from Miami, but decommits again because he was previously committed to Clemson, and so flips his commitment to Miami, held on to that commitment for a very long time. But this is the parts of recruiting that everybody kind of has to worry about, because it's like I said, Christmas Eve, National Signing Day Eve, and a lot of weird things happen. And this was one of them. I didn't hear anything about this prior to it happening. There wasn't even a decommitment note. Not that you have to do one as a recruit, but these kids nowadays, they tweet notes about everything. But he did, excuse me, commit. I'm sorry. Reed McCeska did tweet a commitment edit to South Carolina. South Carolina flips Reed McCeska, one of Miami's three tight ends, a three-star guy that, in my opinion, is good enough to be a four-star guy. I mean, you look at his offers. He was committed to Clemson. Alabama wanted him. Miami was obviously committed to Miami. And then he obviously ends up flipping to the South Carolina Gamecocks. He wanted to be a cock. So, yeah. So congratulations to him. I think that's actually a bigger loss than most people think in terms of what he was able to bring to the table, because that is a big, big tight end, right? And I was talking with somebody that knows a little thing or two about recruiting and about development, and they had a good conversation, and he had me thinking that maybe Miami was looking at him in terms of being a tackle later on down the line, like an Eric Winston. Sound familiar? Remember Eric Winston, who ended up finishing his career here at on the offensive line, came in as a tight end. If you guys remember the national championship game against Ohio State, in that overtime where Miami was at the goal line and Ken Dorsey gets sacked, he actually overthrew a wide open Eric Winston coming out. Had his hand in the dirt, kind of was faking blocking a little bit, wide open on the right side of the end zone. Ken Dorsey missed him. That kind of what Reed McCeska was looking to be, like a really, really big tight end, and kind of just ended up bulking up into a right tackle, left tackle, whatever the case is. Anyway, he is gone. Miami still holds their third ranked class, and as it stands right now, I want to talk about the depth at the tight end position, since his commitment is no longer Miami's. So in the class, the two tight ends that are remaining are Jackson Carver. Spoke to that kid a couple months ago on the Sebastian Lane show. Really cool kid. His favorite athlete is Mike Tyson. Didn't expect that from a high school senior. So Jackson Carver out of Windsor, Connecticut, 6'6", 220, three-star kid, 30th best tight end in the country. And Riley Williams, who is ranked as, I believe, the second or third tight end in the country, and I'm pulling it up right now, fourth tight end in the country, playing right now for IMG, four-star kid, 6'6", 240, has all the tools. I remember when Kellen Winslow came in and he was a little bit frail as a tight end, looked more like a receiver. This is Kellen Winslow built, okay, because this kid reminds me of Kellen Winslow, all right? Has wide receiver skills in a tight end body. This is the pass catcher of the three tight ends that Miami had committed. The other two were more blocker types. Reed McCeska was kind of a do-it-all, maybe. Not to say that Riley Williams cannot block, but he's going to be the receiver of the bunch. So a little bit more playing time for Jackson Carver. And as it stands right now, the tight ends on the roster look like this. So Will Mallory's, obviously his services are no longer Miami's. He's taken his talents over to the NFL. Good luck to him. I actually think he's going to get drafted. Jaleel Skinner, okay, five-star tight end that Miami won the recruiting battle over Alabama last recruiting cycle. Khalil Brantley, more of an H-back type, 6'2", has some speed. You saw him knocking heads against Virginia, and plays with a mean edge. I really like his skill set and how Miami can use him, can come out of the backfield, can block, can play some special teams, and can catch the ball. Right, he plays like a Miami guy. Dominic Mammarelli, redshirt freshman, my fave, one of my faves in the tight end room because of the fact that he's a mauler. Okay, big enough to run behind, and not to say that he can't pass catch. It's not his forte, not what he came to do. But that's your blocking tight end, and you add Riley Williams and Jackson Carver. I like that bunch a lot, and of course they're going to be um, coached by Stephen Field, a really good tight end coach, better recruiter. Some people I talk to say that he may be one of the coaches that's in and out. This is just me kind of reading the tea leaves and putting things together. And I know I'm jumping around here, but I'm going to get back to the focus that is recruiting. But remember when Josh Gaddis was hired and everybody was talking about how much he loves the tight end room? The fact that you know these tight ends are a big thing of Mario's recruiting, and people are not going to want to hear this, but the fact that Gaddis is still here, and I haven't really heard his name popping up about potentially taking another spot elsewhere. I think the coaching staff or the administration or whatever the case is, Mario. When I say administration, I mean Mario because he's the one that runs the thing here and makes the decisions. I think he's going to get another go at offensive coordinator, and a lot of people hate that. A lot of people are okay with it. And me, for myself, this is where I stand with Gaddis. I'm okay if he leaves, and I'm okay if he stays because I actually want to see him with a full, healthy complement of players, right? That's what I want to see. Everybody knows, they were able to move the ball. They, meaning obviously the offense, was able to move the ball between the 20s earlier on in the season. And then Miami had, a rash of injuries that cannot be explained. At one point, Miami was 4 starters down on the offensive line, playing with 6, sometimes 7 offensive linemen. Ridiculous. Everybody ranted and raved about the running back room coming into the season. And then all of a sudden, you're only down to like 1 or 2 healthy backs late in the season, and one of them was a transfer from UAB. Okay, we're going to talk about the running backs in a little bit and commitments that Miami has gotten over the past week or so, the entire recruiting class. And so, yeah, I like the tight end room looking forward, but Reed McKeska is gone. Speaking of decommitments, let's talk about the very few decommitments that Miami has had to endure this recruiting cycle. A couple of years ago, several cycles ago, several moons ago, several staffs ago, there was a decommit, it seemed like weekly. That's not happening with this staff. Again, we knew what we were getting with Mario in terms of the recruiting aspect, and you knew that he was going to do that like an ace, and the dude is recruiting like he invented it. Like he invented the word recruiting. And so right now, the decommitments under Mario's watch have been as follows. Jaden Rashada. And depending on who you speak to, that maybe was a Florida guy all along, okay? And now, depending on who you talk to, he's kind of I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to stay put. But Jaden Rashada, okay, Andy Jean, also a Florida commit, but he, receiver from Miami Northwestern, he's kind of leaning FSU's way is what I've heard lately, which is hilarious if you ask me, because let me tell you something. If you guys haven't heard, word on the street is UF is not looking good at all on the recruiting trail. Not only is Billy, what's his name? Billy, okay, poor little Billy, Florida's coach, getting stuffed in the locker over and over by Mario in this recruiting cycle. Okay, they're looking sick. I was speaking to somebody, and he noted, or he made a reference to Florida's recruiting staff like this. He said that in terms of coaching, they actually have some really good coaches that can coach the game, but they're not very good recruiters. Okay, he got some guys there that over from the NFL ranks, and those NFL guys, if they don't have college experience, then they're not. How good are they, or how effective can they be in a living room building relationships with a young man, right? So they can coach, right? They can coach, but in terms of the recruiting aspect, that they have some stuff that's left to be desired, and you're seeing it now because they're losing recruiting battle after recruiting battle after recruiting battle to Mario alone. And I don't know what that looks like if you're going up against Georgia, because I don't keep up with Florida recruiting unless Miami's in the sentence. Who knows how many head-to-heads they've lost to Georgia, another rival, obviously, Alabama, FSU, or any other SEC school. So that's something to keep an eye on. So Jaden Rashada, Andy Jean, Connor Liu, that one kind of stunk. You're talking about the number 1 center in the country, all right? Number 1 center in the country. He decommits to Auburn. And by the way, Miami, from what I've heard, is, still and you should know this with Mario, just because you decommit, that does not mean that he's going to go ahead and say, all right, fine. But one thing I do know about Mario, and you do too, this isn't breaking news, that if you're flirting with somebody else, then he's going to go ahead and do his due diligence as well. If you're not committed, then he has every right in the world to shop around. So Connor Lew, that one sucked. I wasn't happy with that one, but what can you expect in the world of recruiting? Lamar Seymour was eons ago, and then of course Reed McKessa. So if you were keeping count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decommitments. One of them was a big time quarterback. One of them was a very good 4-star receiver in Andy Jean, local guy. And then Connor Lew. Okay. Although he's rated a 3-star guy, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. The dude is a kick ass center. Okay. And number one center in the country. And so I thought that was a big deal. But listen, I'm not worried about it because Mario's an O-line guy. Mirabal is a top 3 O-line mind in the country, tops, depending on who you speak to. So I'm not worried about that. And here are Miami's commitments as they stand. I'm going to list these commitments in order of their ranking in Miami's class. So Miami's best recruit, highest rated recruit, to Miami's lowest rated recruit. And here it goes. So Cormani McClain, no surprise there. That dude would be the number 1 player in a bunch of recent classes, maybe even last year. So last year, the number 1 player in the country, all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, obviously takes his talents to Jackson, Mississippi, and plays for Deion Sanders, right? So cornerback Travis Hunter, I believe he was listed as an athlete. And a lot of people had this conversation with a couple of people, and he's a generational talent, okay? Cormani's a generational talent. They play the same position. You don't really get generational talents like that in back-to-back classes as the number 1 player at their position in back-to-back classes. It just doesn't happen like that. But these two are really, they're that dude. The difference between them, Cormani's the better cornerback. Travis Hunter might be the better athlete. Big difference. Not saying Travis Hunter can't be a corner. Of course he can. All right. And the rumors are that he's going to go ahead and take his talents to Colorado. But I don't know how much smoke you want to put into this. There was a tweet that I saw. I forgot who published the tweet that USC, other than Colorado, USC, Miami, and I think it was Georgia that were big on Travis Hunter's. They had him on speed dial. Let's just put it that way, to see if they can potentially bring, he could take their services to either of their schools. Just dreaming here. Can you imagine Travis Hunter on one side and Cormani McClain on the other? Just shut it down. Just shut it down because it wouldn't be fair. And then with Miami's pass rush, holy cow, that's just crazy. But any event, that's just dreaming. I don't know how much of a surprise Mario has in store for tomorrow. Somebody that I was speaking to did say that expect at least 2, maybe 3 other flips of some names that are very impressive. Okay, remember there was already one in the defensive tackle from North Carolina. That was committed to North Carolina. I forgot his name here. Sorry about it. Pulling it up. Joshua Horton. Okay, that's another underrated guy, but we'll get to his name in a little bit. But yeah, Cormani McClain, top of the list in terms of Miami's highest rated recruit. Francis Margot, who all of a sudden is the second best tackle in the country. Okay, Caden Proctor, hell of a recruit, hell of a prospect, was committed to Iowa all of a sudden, flips his commitment to Alabama. Okay, you got to wonder how much that meant into switching these rankings, these recruiting rankings between these player rankings at that position. The kid has been behind Margoa for a very long time. At one point, he was the number 1 tackle in the country, but then the season goes on, rankings change. Margoa was number 1 for a real long time. All of a sudden, Caden Proctor is number 1. I think that's funny. But Margoa, I'm still calling the nation's best offensive tackle. Don't be surprised he plays guard. And don't be mad if he plays guard. Number 1, don't be mad because you're supposed to know as a Miami Hurricanes fan that the offensive linemen, they cross-train just in case crap like last season happens, okay? They cross-train. But I don't think Margoa fits bad as a guard. I mean, look, 6'5.5", let's call him 6'6", 330, going by 247's, measurables, 6'5.5", 330, not a bad size for a tackle at all. Has really good feet, which is why he's playing tackle. But that's not bad size for a guard either. Again, assuming those measurables are 100% accurate. And no, by the way, if you're wondering, we will not have Gabby Urrutia on today because, look, it's signing day eve. The guy's up to here with content that he has to put out by tonight for tomorrow. So I spoke with him earlier, and he's never said no. So the fact that he did today, there's a reason for it. So, Gabby, we're waiting on your content, buddy. Can't wait to see what you got in store for us. Francis Murgoa, Miami's second highest recruit. Samson Pancake Honcho Okunlola. Really excited for his commitment. Miami's third highest ranked recruit, the third highest tackle in the country, okay, according to 247, out of Thayer Academy in Massachusetts. Ruben Bain, a guy that the only thing keeping him from being a five-star is his 6'2", 250 frame, okay? If this guy was 6'4", maybe 6'5", he may be the highest rated player in the country, okay? For my money, he's the best pass rusher in the country. You're talking about 29 sacks in back-to-back seasons. That's ungodly, unworldly, unheard of, okay? And he did it against great competition. Mind you, he did play IMG Academy. Wasn't matched up one-on-one on Francis plenty, but the times that they did kind of, go mano-a-mano, Francis won those head-to-heads, all right? 29 sacks against great competition, four-time state champion. Did you guys see his commitment to Miami, who he was on FaceTime with when he was throwing up the U with Nathaniel Joseph next to him at the awards banquet last week, or was it 2 weeks? I think it was last week. He was on the FaceTime with Coach Cristobal. And this is the night that he was supposed to be at Samson Okunlola's official visit. I'm just wondering if Mario was in his living room. That would have been hilarious. Or would have been even more hilarious. Can you imagine if Samson Okunlola was on the FaceTime? I think that would have been golden. But again, that's just me being a fan. So Samson Okunlola, Ruben Bain, fourth highest recruit for Miami, edge player out of Miami Central. Are you sensing a theme here? Are you sensing a theme between the guys that I'm talking about? They're all Florida guys. Miami's not Miami. Well, yeah, Miami, but Mario's locking down the state. And I'll tell you what, before I get out of this segment, not that Miami has done a terrible job at this, because they haven't, but Miami, hopefully, they get more into national recruiting, because sometimes these Florida kids can be iffy. South Florida kids, I'll be exact, can be kind of iffy, man. It's just they have a stigma about them that isn't good, and I don't like it, because I like these kids. Obviously, I root for them, and I watched them in high school. But some of them don't have it all up here, and they're about the spotlight. But you don't have to worry about that when it comes to Mario, because he's recruiting character, and all of these guys have one thing in common. They're signing up for the same exact thing. They know what they're signing up for. And, Mario rules with an iron fist. So if they know this, they're about that life. It's okay. They got that dog in them. And listen, I use that very, very, very carefully, because these dogs that Miami's been recruiting the past, I'm not saying Miami as a program has been calling these former commitments of dogs. The players themselves have been calling themselves that. And if you look at some of the decommits and where they've committed to, the schools that they committed to, makes you kind of wonder about the talent that was at Miami. Okay. We're going to get into the other decommitments or the portal transfers that have not decommitments, I'm sorry, the portal transfers and where they've landed. And you look at where they've landed, and it's like, why wasn't an SEC school after them or an ACC school after them? Like, what the hell? That just tells you the talent that was on Miami's roster. It wasn't where it needed to be. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the names of Miami's class right now. To Ruben Bain, the fourth highest recruit in Miami's class. Jaden Wayne, edge out of IMG Academy, 11th rated pass rusher in the country. Malik Bryant, ninth best linebacker in the country out of Orlando. We're still in state, guys. All of these are Florida guys. Riley Williams, IMG, fourth best tight end in the country. Robert Stafford, stud, athlete, cornerback, you name it. Melbourne, Florida, top 13 cornerback in the country. Nathaniel Joseph, do it all. Slot receiver, Miami Edison, 5'8", 170, speed. Collins Akempong, the Michigan flip that I got a couple weeks ago. 6'7", 254, four-star kid, 19th best pass rusher in the country. Raul Aguirre, linebacker, born in Miami, spent some time in Miami before he moved up to Georgia, Fayetteville, Georgia. Really, really big, nasty linebacker, 6'2", 220, and I actually think he's a little bit taller than 6'2". Somebody was telling me that they were kicking it with him at a tailgate, and the dude is a linebacker. Like, remember those old school linebackers? That's him, but he can move. 4-star guy. Robbie Washington, son of Bobby Washington, his twin brother Bobby is also committed as a linebacker to Miami. But Robbie is a 4-star tight end in the mold of a Nathaniel Joseph, a little bit taller, 5'10", 185, another speed guy. Get him in the open field, he's a problem. Antoine Jackson out of Dillard, safety, 4-star. Mark Fletcher, big time news getting Mark Fletcher because I thought he was going to UF. I really did think that. And then you heard what he said after the visit to UF. He said being on their campus solidified his decision to come to Miami. I think the way Mario should start closing is sending kids to Tallahassee and sending kids to Gainesville, because sending them to that trap up there, that wasteland, just kind of, I think that's hilarious. When he said that, I almost cried, spit the water that was out in my mouth. So Mark Fletcher, big time get. American Heritage kids, they have not been committing to Miami. 6'1", 225, bruiser, 15th best running back in the country. Love that commit. Christopher Johnson, got thunder and lightning in the backfield, guys. Chris Johnson is that speed guy out of Dillard. 5'11", 178, another 4-star guy. Bobby Washington, really fast, underrated linebacker. Okay. 6'3", 215. He's a 4-star. He got bumped because he was a 3-star, but then 24/7, went ahead and bumped him in their last ratings. Joshua Horton, that's a guy that should be a 4-star kid. Really, really, really violent at the point of attack on the D-line, 6'4", 285. They're going to put at least 15 pounds on him. Tommy Kinsler, Florida flip, can play on either side of the ball, okay? But I think he's going to stay on offense. 6'6", 330, interior lineman. Emory Williams, this is the kid that beat out Jaden Rashada in the Elite 11 football camp several months ago during the summer. He ranked higher than him, finished higher than him in the Elite 11. He's only a 3-star kid from Milton, Florida, quarterback. I talked about Jackson Carver already. Antonio Tripp, another IMG guy, inside offensive lineman. Marcellus Pulliam, linebacker, committed. You want to know why I'm okay with this guy, even though I have not seen a second of tape from him? If Brent Venables wants you on his defense, you're fine with me. All right. And that's exactly who he was committed. He was, flirting with Oklahoma there for a minute. 6'3", 215 linebacker in the mold of another of Bobby Washington, another fast guy. And wow, the things I've heard about, again, I've never seen any tape on him, but the things I've heard about him is that he comes with bad intentions. Caleb Spencer, another linebacker out of Virginia, 3-star guy. Frankie Tinalau is probably one of my favorite underrated recruits in the class. LaSalle, offensive tackle, 6'5", 315. And then I'm going to go ahead. I'm 5 minutes over. Sean's not going to kill me. He's not like that. But I'll be right back. Got to finish talking about the recruiting class for Miami, portal talk, you name it. But just stick around. You're listening to Miami Hurricanes Watch on the 305 Sports Talk Network. I'm your host, Mike McCoy. See you on the other side.
You're listening to the home for hardcore Miami Hurricanes coverage. This is the Miami Hurricanes Watch with Mike McCoy on the Sports Talk 305 Network.
Red Recover now offers a simple-to-use, professional-grade light therapy device designed to help your dog heal and live a healthier life. Red Recover emits red and infrared light therapy based on the same science that NASA developed, all in a soft, flexible housing pad powered by a convenient, rechargeable lithium-ion battery. Say yes to science and give your dog the care it deserves with Red Recover.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
You're locked into the only platform truly dedicated to South Florida sports. This is the Miami Hurricanes Watch on the Sports Talk 305 network. Here's your host, Mike McCoy.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, thanks for joining us here on this lovely Tuesday evening, December 20th, National Signing Day Eve. I'm your host, Mike McCoy. You're watching the Miami Hurricanes Watch on the 305 Sports Talk Network. We're talking recruiting. We're talking transfer portal. Thanks for the comment there, Chase Barrett. The portal is more important than high school recruiting nowadays. No guarantee these kids are here next year. Look at FSU with bad recruiting, but good in the portal. 5 wins in 2021, now a CFP contender. I hear that, but I don't all the way hear it because you can't build off the portal 100%. My opinion, okay? I'm not a college football coach, but the way I see it is if you're continuously building on the portal, that means you're not doing great recruiting, okay? It doesn't matter if these kids are not here next year. You got to establish relationships in the high schools. You got to establish relationships at home with these parents. You got to establish relationships with these players in high school in their sophomore year. There's no such thing as recruiting early. No such thing, because that's why Mario's good at recruiting. He's good with relationships, okay? He doesn't bullshit, and parents love him. That's my favorite thing when it comes to Mario's recruiting. Obviously, the players love him, but recruits commit to coaches anyway, so you know that they love him. Parents love Mario. They trust him with their children, okay? That's what I love about Mario. And you know who loves Mario too? Other coaches love working with Mario, even though he rules with an iron fist, as people like to say. If you're signing up for it, that means you're about that life and you're okay with it. It's like being a police officer and being scared of going in the line of fire. Like, you know what you're signing up for, or being a doctor and being scared of blood. The two just don't mix. You know what Mario brings to the table, and if you sign your name on a dotted line, that means that okay, that's I think that's same when I have that same mentality. So I'm not saying I disagree with you, Chase. Yes, you built through the portal, and programs would be stupid not to use the portal to help build their team. But I don't think you can go ahead and totally build the team off that, because number one, these players are most of the time they're only here for a year or two. That's how it's been in Miami's case. Yes, you get that instance where you get a guy with 3 or 4 years left remaining. Look at Daryl Jackson, flipped his transfer to FSU to be close to his ailing mother, and hope everything's okay with that. But he had like what 3-4 years left after one season at Maryland. Okay, but that's my thing with it. You use your portal in an ideal situation. You don't have to depend on the portal, and you use it in spots. Recruiting, that's where you build, because you really can't build character through the portal, and character is big with Mario. That's how I see it. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not here to do that, but thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Let's talk about the portal guys that have left Miami, since, good way to segue into that, right? So the guys that have left the portal, holy cow. Let's talk about them in order of appearance, okay? Because they came in, it was like a boatload, and like, boom, wow. So Gilbert Frierson, first one to put his name in the portal, right? November 16th. Al Blades Jr., December 1st. Al Blades decided to take his talents to Duke, okay? An ACC team, a surprise. But you want to know what I noticed about Al Blades? Nothing he does should surprise you, okay? Obviously, some familiarity there. Former coaches on Miami's staff are at Duke. I don't know if they're going to be there for the next season, but they were there in 2022. I like that landing spot for him. Has 2 years left that he could use, and so does Gil Frierson. He has 2 years left. Gil Frierson has yet to pick a destination. So Al Blades was December 1st. 4 days later, Alan Hay and Keyshawn Washington and Elijah Roberts and Thad Franklin, Keyshawn Smith, Jalen Harrell, Isaiah Dunson, all put their names in the portal. Also with Avante Williams and those are the Miami guys who put their name in the portal, all on December 5th. Okay, so Elijah Roberts, actually, let me start with Alan Hay, takes his talents to Temple. Keyshawn Washington has yet to announce a destination. Elijah Roberts, SMU with you know who. That rhymed, and I didn't mean to rhyme it, but obviously some familiarity there. SMU, you know who their head coach is, Rhett Lashley. I can understand the offensive guys going there, but the defensive guys, I don't know if there's that many defensive coaches that Rhett Lashley took with him to SMU. or maybe it's just a Rhett Lashlee thing. But Elijah Roberts, that's a kid that was going to play inside and out, or is going to play inside and out. I'm pretty sure that he's going to be looked at in the same uh, in the same way that he was here at Miami, a guy that can play, passing downs inside and then, outside whenever he's needed. I liked him a lot. He has 3 years left. Thad Franklin has yet to pick a spot. Keyshawn Smith, SMU. Jalen Harrell, UMass. Isaiah Dunson, nowhere. Avante Williams, Maryland. Okay, I like that landing spot for him. He has 3 years left of eligibility. And Jordan Miller, he announced the day after on December 6th that he was entering the transfer portal. He's also at SMU. Jalen Knighton, no surprise, SMU. Daryl Jackson, FSU. Romello Brinson, yet to pick a destination. Kamar Rogers. Uh, the ridiculousness with his parents and what they did on social media is a damn shame. Okay, um, that that kid had to feel so awkward after seeing his parents do what they did and embarrass him. Okay, you can't help but wonder. Okay, how much that had to do with him transferring out. I'm not saying that he wasn't going to transfer if that didn't happen. Okay, but that definitely helped, if you ask me. Or if it didn't, I'd be shocked. Okay, but he's going to Mississippi State, actually going to an SEC school. And John Campbell, flirting with FSU, took a visit there, has yet to announce. That was yesterday. So if you were counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 guys transferred out. Okay, let's talk about the guys that have committed to Miami via the transfer portal. So Devontae Brown, from UCF, cornerback, immediate eligibility, obviously. Big lanky cornerback, okay, 6'1", about a buck 60. Oh, I'm sorry, that was at the time of his recruitment. I'm looking at it right now. 6'1", he's closer to 180 right now. I like the length there, kind of matching what Cormani McClain brings on the other side. Obviously, not the corner that Cormani is, but I'm talking about in terms of length, maybe like a Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson started for the Seattle Seahawks, okay? So, a lengthy cornerback. A lot of times they don't have the speed that you want, but a lot of times you get that guy that knows how to use his speed, and depending on the scheme, he could be effective. Okay, Richard Sherman, not the fastest guy, he was effective in a certain scheme. Always played one side of the field, was a certain type of played that trail technique and was good at it. So we'll see how that happens over with Devontae Brown. So Miami picks up his commitment from UCF, Javion Cohen, the big one, the big offensive line transfer portal target that the Miami fans wanted from Alabama. If you have a chance to go look at that tape from game 1 of 2021, when Miami went up to Atlanta, I was one of those guys that went up to Atlanta to thinking that Miami had a chance to at least lose respectably, right? Boy, was I wrong. Go rewatch that game and see how he manhandled several of Miami's interior linemen. Okay, Jared Harrison Hunt, one of them. Jared Harrison Hunt several times. I mean, the guys that Miami's bringing in via the transfer portal and recruiting. I wish that I had an all-access pass at Greentree, because it's going to be a freaking bloodbath out there. Okay, because not only are they talented, but the biggest thing that I like about Miami's recruiting class right now, and everybody that's coming in, even via the portal, they are all on the same page up here. Again, if you know what Mario brings to the table and you are okay with signing up with that type of coaching, that type of discipline, that type of it's going to be this way or the highway, you in or you out, and you say, yeah, and you got talent on top of talent at the position that's coming. I'm sorry, at the position that you play. I like it. These guys aren't afraid. They think they can do it. So let's do it. All right. Javion Cohen, man, that's a big get. That's a big get. He's going to play either guard spot. And I'm just excited for his commitment. And that was the latest portal addition. I want to take a look at what the potential offensive line can look like for Miami, okay? Because Javion Cohen didn't come here to sit, all right? If you're starting at Alabama, damn sure you're going to start here, okay? Now, Mario doesn't just give out playing time. He's going to make you earn it, but let's be honest here. This kid's going to come in to start, okay? So Zion Nelson Haven't heard anything about him hitting the draft. Haven't heard anything about him declaring. Let's say he comes back, right? Okay, supposed to be Miami's left tackle coming into the season, never fully recovered from that knee injury that he sustained, and hence you see John Campbell play the left tackle all season long and do a decent job at it. Okay, I don't remember hearing his name called much. A lot like a cornerback. If you don't hear your name called much as an offensive lineman, that's probably a good thing. Same thing as a corner. If you're not saying that corner's name, that's probably a good thing. Okay, that's why Cormani McLean is going to be very boring. He's probably not going to put up a lot of stats, because that side of the field is going to be covered. Remember Deion Sanders, guys, when he was playing in the NFL, he wouldn't even go into the huddle. I'm a Niners fan. I remember this, okay, and I remember him in Dallas, because remember mid '90s, the Niners and Dallas had that thing going, and the Niners couldn't get past Dallas until they did won the Super Bowl in '94 with Deion, but Deion wouldn't even go to the huddle because he knew what his job was going to just lock up this guy in front of me. Okay. And I'm not saying Cormani's not going to get into the huddle, but I can't wait until 2024 because Jaden Rashad is going to have half the field to work with. I can't wait for it. But going back to the offensive line, let's just say Zion Nelson comes back, right? I'm not saying he's starting at left tackle. I'm not saying these true freshmen are starting at left tackle, but I am saying Zion coming back uh, looking for starter snaps is not a given, okay? Because there is a chance Samson Okunlola can start at either tackle spot. There is a chance that Francis Maragoa can start at at either tackle spot. Frankly, Tenelau, I'm not saying that he's not going to see the field, but I don't think that he will be one of the names in the mix to start. Can he? Probably, sure, okay, but he's not as highly regarded as the other two, and I think that's for a reason. These guys are elite prospects at their position. So you move inside, and the interior lineman from left to right, Jalen Rivers, and this is a guy that's supposed to be everything. Okay, if he was in the SEC, he'd probably and he had his health, he can be an all SEC type talent. Jalen Rivers is that good. Okay, and remember, Miami's offensive lineman, he cross trained, so this is a guy that can play tackle, but he's a guard. Okay, this guy has that SEC girth that you want, and I like him at left or right guard, and Javion Cohen at left or right guard. That's what I want. That's what I really want to start the season. Those two guys manning the guard positions. I hope Jalen Rivers is healthy, because I think he had some issues as well. And then, of course, Ja'Kai Clark, who's not a bad center, but he was banged up this year as well. I think he had something with his wrist. Can't remember if it was the hand that he snapped the ball with or not, but you need your hands to block, okay? You got these defensive tackles, and with these, these skills, these defensive tackles are learning their hands, or learning to use their hands like karate chop moves all of a sudden now, and it's ridiculous. So you kind of need that. But that's a player that I like manning the middle. And again, the tackles, those positions are up for grabs. Okay. And then if I'm looking right now, let me pull up the depth chart into last season. Chris Washington is a guy that I'm not expecting to start or see a lot of playing time. You gotta wonder about Annette, going back to the guard positions. You gotta wonder about Inez Cooper and how much he played last year. That's a true freshman. And if you pay attention to Mario when he talks about Inez Cooper, that's a guy that he beams about. He loves talking about Inez Cooper, because the dude, I mean, have you seen him? Have you seen the guy? Logan Sakopolu came over from Oregon. Was it him? I can't remember if it was him or if it was Jonathan Dennis that was injured at Oregon, or maybe they both were injured at Oregon, and then they never really truly fully recovered coming into this season. But Logan Sagapolu is no pushover. Okay, Jonathan Dennis, that's a guy that Miami wanted out of South Dade Senior High School, but ended up going to Oregon with Mario a couple cycles ago. That guard position is going to be a battle. Okay, but if you ask me, I think Jalen Rivers wins one of the spots, and the other two spots is going to be between Inez Cooper and Javion Cohen. Probably going to be Cohen rounding it out for the starting spot. But then you got Inez Cooper. You got to imagine that at some point he's seen the field. What I want to see, what I really, 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 really want to see at some points, especially with Miami having a tough time moving the ball in short yardage situations. I don't expect it to be the case this season. But you want to know what I really want to see? I want to see an unbalanced line. Okay, I want to see some creativity, because you got to get these guys on the field. I mean, listen to the guards that I just named, guys. Okay, I don't know about you, but I was very excited to get Jonathan Dennis when he followed Mario from Oregon coming back home to Miami. Okay, last year. When healthy, he's a very good player. Logan Sakapolu, you know what you're getting with Samoans, man. You know what you're getting with him. And I mean, you remember Logan Sakapolu. Let me go ahead and pull up how his measurables. Logan Sakapolu is a whole, and this is off of Miami's website. He is a whole man at, where is he? Logan Sakapolu. First of all, Jonathan Dennis, 6'3", 320. Logan Sakapolu, where is he? Offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. I don't know why he's not listed here. I don't know why I can't find him. I'm literally on Miami's website and I cannot find. Let me filter it by name because I have it filtered by position here and not exactly sure why it's not coming up. Logan Sagapolu, I said 6'3", 320 for Jonathan Dennis, and Logan Sagapolu is 6'2", 340. Like the dude is a bowling ball, okay? And you know what they say about center of gravity and lowest man's when he's already 6'2", which is not terrible for a guard. You can't push him out to offensive tackle, especially at 340, being 6'2". But Sagapolu, Dennis, Rivers, Cooper, okay, and now Javion Cohen, you got a good problem at that guard spot, okay, a really good problem. And again, they cross train, so they can play tackle if needed. If needed, except Sagapolu. I don't want to see a 6'2", 340-pound tackle out there. Unless maybe, like I said, it's an unbalanced line. You got to find a way to get 6 linemen out there at some point this season, okay? Because with the linebackers, with the running backs, Miami has, with the size that they have at a running back, you got to. And by the way, I think Jalen Knighton, speaking of running backs and the type of running backs that Miami has, I think he's going to be missed more than people think. Obviously, speed guy, playmaker, and what are you talking about, Mike? What he brings to the table is obvious. What do you mean missed more than people think? Well, remember when he was suspended last season, what the offense looked like, and then what the offense looked like when he came back? Yes, TVD got hotter around the time that he came back. I get it. But that had a lot to do with Knighton because of the type of back that he is. Miami doesn't have that. I mean, they have it now with the commitment of the Dillard running back, Christopher Johnson. They have that now, okay? And that's the only type of running back that Miami has on that roster right now because you look at it as it stands, the types of running backs that Miami has, he's the only electric speed guy on the roster. He's the only one. Parrish, not that guy. Parrish, a very good, shifty running back, speedy guy, but not that lightning that Knighton provides, okay? Knighton, Thad wasn't that guy. Obviously, he's not coming back, but it's Parrish. It's from the top of my head, the running backs on Miami's roster. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. Okay. Chaney, not the speed guy. Trevante Citizen can do it all. But when you think of Trevante Citizen, especially at 6'1", 220, you're not thinking world-class speed. Okay. Parrish, I already talked about him. But and then now obviously Fletcher, who is a do-it-all guy as well. Not a slow guy, but not the home run threat. This is why Johnson's going to be very important. That's why I think the services of Knighton may be missed more than not because you don't know how much Johnson's going to play, especially if these other backs are tearing it up. Yes, you need him in there for a change of pace, but Miami only has one of those types of running backs, okay? Yes, you can put Brashard back there. Fine, okay? If that happens when they need it to, Brashard can go ahead and fill that role, but I would like to see a little more speed coming out of that backfield. Am I concerned about it? Absolutely not. I think Miami's going to be able to move the ball on the ground like they were earlier in the season, okay? Especially with a revamped offensive line. But, I think he's going to be missed, Jalen Knight, in that regard. But there's a log jam at guard is what I'm getting at, guys, okay? And with you've seen it. You've seen it, the way Mario coaches, the way he likes to build his rosters from the inside out. I mean, look at the defensive, look at the class, okay? A lot of those guys, number one, a lot of them are defensive players. And number two, a lot of them are playing on the line, okay? Linebackers, offensive linemen, tight ends. Miami had 3 tight ends committed at one point. You see what Cristobal is trying to build, okay? And he's starting from the inside and building out because Miami's not going to have a problem recruiting skill. Let's just face it. Weren't you one of those guys a couple of years ago that said, man, if we could just recruit one of these Iowa tackles, man, if we could look like Wisconsin and get some of their guys? Well, it's happening. Okay. Remember when Wisconsin was beating us in the bowl games, the Orange Bowl and then the damn Pinstripe Bowl? Okay. They ran all over us. So, you know, the Great Wall of Mirrorball is coming to Miami, and I'm just excited. I'm excited. And so, yeah, I just wanted to take a look at the offensive line so maybe you guys can get a picture of what it looks like in their head, in your head, and really think about, because we've seen Clemson get creative with an unbalanced line, and then Wilkins running it in from three yards out at the goal line for a touchdown. Obviously now he's playing for the Dolphins, but I want to see that. I really want to see that. Okay. Kinsler's back there. Miami has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to offensive linemen. Okay. And let them sort it out. Let the players on Green Tree sort it out. I'm here for it. It's time for another break. When I come back, we'll wrap it up with a couple more thoughts on signing day. Who do you want to see on the dotted line for Miami? Who do you think Miami's going to get? Who do you think Miami's going to miss out on? Stick around. You're listening to Miami Hurricanes Watch. I'm your host, Mike McCoy on the 305 Sports Talk Network. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the home for hardcore Miami Hurricanes coverage. This is the Miami Hurricanes Watch with Mike McCoy on the Sports Talk 305 Network.
Red Recover now offers a simple-to-use, professional-grade light therapy device designed to help your dog heal and live a healthier life. Red Recover emits red and infrared light therapy based on the same science that NASA developed, all in a soft, flexible housing pad powered by a convenient, rechargeable lithium-ion battery. Say yes to science and give your dog the care it deserves with Red Recover.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
You're locked into the only platform truly dedicated to South Florida sports. This is the Miami Hurricanes Watch on the Sports Talk 305 Network. Here's your host, Mike McCoy.
Back for the last segment of the show, guys. Thank you very much for sticking with us. If you have been with me an hour watching and or hearing me run my mouth, God bless you. How the hell can you? But Paco, what's up, man? Appreciate you coming into the chat. Done with that class, man. Thank God. Canes fan 16, looking forward to tomorrow and these guys getting on campus. Same here, sir. Big time get from Cohen, 100%. The guys are going to start. Again, if you guys didn't see it, man, go ahead and kind of replay that game last season when Miami goes up to Atlanta and loses to Alabama. He was making that defensive line look like ragdolls. All right, somebody tweeted it. I think it was State of the U. Actually, as a matter of fact, go to State of the U's Twitter account, and they tweeted a bunch of reps that Cohen had, especially on number 81, Jared Harrison Hunt, and he just made it look easy. Right? So go ahead and check that out so you can see what kind of player Miami's getting. Again, this is only a year ago, so it's not like if we're looking at a high school tape. What else? Jalen Rivers still that dude, bro. He is, man. He is. And I see that last comment there, Paco. It's done, man. It's done. Enjoy your break, bro. I'm happy about that. I wanted to talk about Miami's recruiting class right now. It's very, very even, guys. Very, very even. If I'm not a math major, but I think I counted correctly. 12 guys on offense, 12 guys on defense. I want to dig a little deeper into that. Of those 12 guys on offense, how many are in the trenches? You got Francis, 1. Okunlola, 2. Okunlola, 2. Let's see here. Tommy Kinsler, the Florida Flip, 3. Antonio Tripp, 4. And then Frankly Tinalau, 5. That is 5 of the trench guys. 5 of the 12 players, almost half of the 12 verbal commitments from Miami are putting their hands in the ground, blocking, and these guys all look the same. Because yes, Miami, can get an offensive lineman here and there, a big time name on the line, okay, but these guys look different, okay. I'm used to seeing Miami getting tackles at 280, 290, and then them having to put on weight to go ahead and be legitimate, right? College football players. But then even the 20, 30 pounds they put on, it just didn't look right. Teams still looked bigger than Miami. These boys are coming in 300 plus. Okay. Frankly, Tinalau is 6'5", 315 pounds. And I think that kid should be a 4-star player. Okay. I think, look, he's athletic. You've seen videos of him dunking the football, so you know he can move his feet well. He's an athlete. Antonio Tripp, an IMG guy, you know he can play 6'3", 300 pounds, 3-star kid. I mean, it's just crazy. The other commits from Miami on the offense: 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. That's 10. A quarterback, and 2 receivers. The 2 receivers in Washington and the receiver from Edison. I'm drawing a blank right now. Nathaniel Joseph. And yeah, I already talked about the tight end Riley Williams. But then on defense, the 12 players, the guys that are putting their hands in the dirt: Ruben Bain, edge rusher; Jaden Wayne, edge rusher; Malik Bryant. Some kind of think that he's going to put his hand in the dirt at some point and be an edge rusher. I hope not. Okay, I want to see him standing up and playing football at the linebacker position. Okay, so Bain, Wayne, of the 12 commits, those 2 have their hands in the dirt. Collins are Arkenpong from the former Michigan commit. That's a rusher. Uh, Joshua Horton, 4. Okay, and then that's pretty much it. So 4. Okay, there was 5 guys that were in the trenches for Miami's offense. 4 of them in the trenches for Miami's defense. But then, Miami has some linebackers too. Okay, so those guys are playing up close to the line. You see what Coach Mario is trying to win the line on both sides of the ball, and he's not making it a secret. The only secret that Coach Mario, I keep saying Miami, that Coach Mario Cristobal is having is who the hell is going to come tomorrow, because there's going to be a surprise, guys. There's going to be at least one. Okay. Apparently, there was maybe 1 or 2 surprise visitors on campus this past weekend for Miami's last official visit weekend. I don't know who the hell they are. I just know that there was 1 or 2, and both of them were big names. Now that they come to Miami, who knows? But I was told that Miami expect at least 2 flips. Okay, and that's outside of Horton. Okay, I'm not talking about including Horton on those flips. I'm not talking about including Collins on one of those 2 flips. I'm talking about outside of those, expect at least 2 more, and one of them is a big name. Okay, I have no idea what side of the ball. I'm just telling you what I've been told, and even if I did know the names, I wouldn't spoil it for the kid. But I'm telling you that I don't. So I'm not an insider anyway. I don't like that inside stuff, because I just don't. I just like seeing what people say, what a bunch of people say, doing my own little research, the little bit that I do, because I'm not going to research. Recruiting's not my thing, and I'll put my own thoughts to it. Connect the dots here and there. But speed at the linebacker position is also what you're seeing. My coach Cristobal is making Miami look like Miami, guys. Speed at linebacker. Defensive tackles that, yeah, they could get in the backfield, but they're violent at the point of attack. When you think of defensive tackles that are violent at the point of attack, I think of Warren Sapp. I think of Jerome Brown. I think of Vince Wilfork was violent, heavy-handed at the point of attack. He knows what it takes. He practiced against these guys, okay? So he's building that. And Joshua Horton, like I said, that's a kid that should be 4 stars, okay? He should be 4 stars at 6'4", 285. He's listed as the 55th best defensive tackle in the country. But you want to know what I like to look at when it comes to recruiting? I don't really care about stars. I like to look at offers, okay? Because if your offers are Auburn, North Carolina, obviously Miami, Arkansas, an SEC school, FSU, Georgia. I mean, he has a long list. LSU's on that list. Michigan's on that list. Michigan State's on that list. Mississippi State, Pittsburgh always fields a really good defensive line. Tennessee. Guys, how is this kid a 4-star? That's what I like to look at. So You know, try to use that or making myself look smarter than what I am here. But doesn't that make sense? Look at the offers. Okay, how is this kid a 3-star? How is Emory Williams a 3-star if he finishes ahead of Jaden Rashada in the Elite 11 camp? I don't get it. I don't care. I know what Miami's getting, and that's why I call Ruben Bain. That's why I call him the nation's best edge rusher. Again, 29 sacks in back-to-back seasons. The only thing holding him back, guys, is the fact that he's 6'2". That's the only thing holding him back. If this kid was 6'4" or taller, he would be probably rated higher than Cormani McClain. Now, at the next level, I don't know how much he's going to be able to get away with being an edge rusher, because unless you're Dwight Freeney good, okay, they'll stick you on the outside. And Dwight Freeney wasn't 6'2". Dwight Freeney may have been 6 feet tall, okay? But let's say he isn't good enough to be a full-time defensive end, and I'm talking next level NFL. I'm not calling him Aaron Donald, but he fits in that mold physically, is in a frame. I'm not calling him Aaron Donald talent, okay? Because remember, Aaron Donald played on the inside in college, and he kicked everybody's ass, and he's still doing it. They're double teaming Aaron Donald to this day, and he's making it, like it's nothing, except my Niners, because he doesn't do shit against my Niners. But in any event, guys, tomorrow is going to be promising. There's some names out there as I go ahead and pull up the list of national recruits. There's a couple names up there that I think Miami is in the mix for, that I'm hoping Miami's in the mix for. And I'll tell you what I want to see, the fantasy part of me, and what I think ends up happening. Okay, the fantasy part of me wants at least one more defensive tackle. Okay, not to say that Joshua Horton isn't going to get the job done, but that defensive tackle room in Miami is all of a sudden looking kind of thin. Because let me remind you, Darrell Jackson's gone, okay, and so is Jordan Miller, and those are guys. And I'm sorry, say what you want about Jordan Miller, but he contributed last year and he did a damn good job. Remember, he played that tackle spot opposite of LT, okay, Leonard Taylor, number 56. And, Leonard Taylor's the more athletic one that was going to get into the backfield, and Jordan Miller or Darrell Jackson was that plug next to him. You don't always want two of the same type of defensive tackles. You got to get one that's going to get double teamed, the big plug, and then the athletic guy in LT. But Jordan Miller held his own, okay? If you don't believe me, go ahead and look at the PFF grades. I know a lot of people don't like to put too much stock into those, but I think they're pretty spot on, my opinion. But going back into the defensive line that Miami has going, the defensive tackles that are coming back for Miami, Jared Harrison Hunt, Alan Hayes gone, Gerald Jackson's gone, Lichtenstein is coming back. Mesidor is an inside and outside guy, so I'm not going to call him full-time D tackle. Ahmad Moulton is 3. And that's it. And Leonard Taylor is 4. That's thin. That's very thin. You can't roll into the season with 4 defensive tackles. Hell no. Everybody was ranting and raving about Miami's running back room last year, and then look what happened at the end of the season. It was looking sad. Okay, so you can't roll in the season with 4. Josh Horton's gonna play because that's Miami's 5th right now. I want to see at least 1, and even 6 defensive tackles. That's kind of shaky. Okay, so Miami's gonna attack that. In the portal, you got to expect that, especially if they don't get what they want tomorrow at that position, right? So give me one of those or 2. Okay, how about some size at receiver, some height at receiver? Give me a guy that can win the 50-50 ball in the red zone, even though Gaddis refuses to throw fades in the end zone. And I just hate that. I think he did throw a couple because I remember celebrating when he did it this season. I could count on one hand the times that Gaddis actually called a fade in the end zone this year. He did do it. He did it way more than Lashley, because Lashley threw 0 fades in the end zone last year. You don't believe me? Go look it up. Because I remember complaining all season long. It's week 5. I still haven't seen a fade from Lashley in the red zone. Oh, season's about to end. I don't remember. I don't think Lashley threw 1 fade last year. And I get it. Creative guy, but sometimes I felt he outthunk himself. I mean, seriously, you don't have to practice for a fade. You give me your best jump ball guy and go get it. Go get it. So give me a guy that can, because again, at wide receiver, we got 2 smaller-ish guys, which I'm fine with, because get these guys in the open field, right? Okay, cool. But as it stands right now, the tallest receiver Miami has on the roster, Brinson's gone. He was 6'4", 6'2", I'm sorry, is Isaiah Horton. out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee last year, 6'4", 205. Latson 6'3", and then Redding hasn't put his name in the portal. That's good. I think that kid can do something. 6'2", and that's pretty much it. Give me another guy out there that can win a jump ball. And the other dream that I don't think is going to happen. Listen, if Mario is serious, and look, Mario doesn't count anybody out. If he's a guy, if he sees a guy that he wants, he's at least going to make that phone call. Give me some of that Travis Hunter, okay? Give me some of that. It's lights out. Listen. I might get suspended from Twitter. They pick up Travis Hunter. I don't know. I don't know what that happens. But to wrap up the show really quick, because I know Sean wants to go. Sean, thanks for producing tonight, man. You do a great job as always. So here's the list of. I'm gonna go with the top 20 guys. I'm not gonna run through the top 50. I think that's ridiculous to do, especially this late in the show. But some unnamed guys, some guys that haven't announced their verbals. Here it is. Team rankings, player rankings. Boom. So Arch Manning is, the top rated player in the country. Okay. A lot of people like to talk about the competition that he's faced all year. There was only really one clip that I saw. He scrambled for a touchdown on one play. And I swear, look, may God strike me right now. Okay. I could put my hand on the Bible and swear on my kids. All right. I love my 2-year-old. I love my 5-year-old. But there was a play in which he scrambled for a touchdown earlier this season. I promise you, the safety was jogging the entire way. And then when he got close to Arch Manning, he didn't even try to wrap him up. And he was the closest thing to Arch Manning before he crossed the goal line. That's the type of competition this kid was playing. And his rating, if you get a 1,000 rating, kind of like think of baseball, batting average, okay? You're the perfect recruit. Arch Manning's rating is 9.9999. Cormani McClain's is 99.74. A lot better competition than a state champion. In any event, I'm going to run through the top 20. These guys are committed. Some of them committed. Arch Manning committed to Texas. Cormani McClain, Malachi Nelson. And the names that are not committed, by the way, in the top 10, according to 24/7, Miami has 2 recruits, those being Cormani McClain and, of course, Francis Margoa, the best tackle in the country. I don't give a damn what 24/7 says. But in terms of unranked guys, okay, Damon Wilson, okay, an edge rusher, Venice, Florida. He's leaning Georgia's way. Miami was, in the mix with him maybe for a little bit, depending on who you talk to. Obviously, you got to talk to guys like that. Nicholas Harbor, trending to South Carolina, big time, 6'5", 225-pound athlete from the Northeast, Archbishop Carroll in Washington, D.C., is a track guy as well. And when I say track guy, I'm talking about like 10 seconds in the 100. Okay, at 6'5", 225, he's going to put his hands in the dirt and he's going to go get quarterbacks. Okay, Deuce Robinson, tight end, best tight end in the country from Arizona, leaning USC's way. James Smith, defensive tackle at 6'3", 310 pounds, leaning Alabama's way. Anthony Hill, best linebacker in the country. So it's not so much of a rumor anymore. I'm going to go ahead and say it because, it's out there, right? So a certain media entity went ahead and broke that Anthony Hill was coming to Miami on a silent visit 2 weekends ago. That tweet has been deleted. Everybody got pissed off because, as a journalist, you kind of, you see news like that, you're supposed to break it. That's your job, right? But then if you didn't feel bad about tweeting it, then you wouldn't have deleted it. Anthony Hill was coming to Miami on a secret visit that Texas didn't know about. The nation's top-rated linebacker. Didn't happen. That tweet broke. Texas had no idea that he was coming here. And then that day, he ended up committing to Texas. I hate throwing rumors as to why he committed to Texas, but if you're Texas and you had no idea that the best linebacker in the country that's committed to you, or not committed to you, but leaning your way, decides to take a visit to Miami that you didn't know about, what are you going to do to keep him? I'm just asking, what would you do, right, to make sure that he stays? You're going to make sure he's comfortable? Probably. So that happened. If you didn't know, now you know, and I didn't break it because it was already out there. But he's committed to Texas. Who else is out there? Crow Russo, Desmond Ricks. That's a guy, a cornerback that Miami, was in the mix. I don't know how much they still are. Again, I'm naming names that are potential surprises because remember, nobody knew anything Nobody knew anything about Trevante Citizen committing to Miami last year. That was the Mario surprise, okay? And then, obviously Cyrus Moss, that was a surprise. Najee Kelly was not coming here unless Mario did. So, but Trevante Citizen was a surprise of the class. Right now, as it stands for me, Cormani McClain is the surprise of the class, but that's not the only one. Okay, don't think Mario just got one trick up his sleeve. He's definitely got more. Okay, signing day's tomorrow. He's gonna be working it until the last moment that he possibly can. Desmond Ricks, name to keep an eye on, depending on who you talk to. Another uncommitted guy at a position of interest for Miami. Let me see here. Oh, the cornerback from American Heritage. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. I'm forgetting what's his name. His son played here from Miami several years ago. As a matter of fact, his brother just committed to Miami from UCF. Oh God, somebody help me out in the chat here. Crap, drawing a blank. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I had it and I have so many tabs open I can't find it. Oh man. Devontae Brown's brother Devontae Brown is the cornerback that Miami just got a commitment from in the portal from UCF. His brother's at American. Damari Brown. Thank you very much. Damari Brown. That's the name to keep an eye on, and he's trending to Miami. So you kind of wonder if, and I don't think Mario does this. Actually, I know Mario doesn't do this. He didn't go out and get Devontae Brown just to get the commitment from Damari Brown. He got Devontae Brown because he thinks he can play here, okay? It's just an added plus that his brother is one of the best-rated cornerbacks in the country, four-star cornerback out of American Heritage that Miami's in the mix for, and their father played at Miami. So expect that commitment tomorrow at another position of need. That's another long, lengthy cornerback that, listen, 6'1" and 6'2" out on the edge. I'm not saying that Damari's going to start, but I bet you anything that he's going to see playing time. A lot of these guys are committing to Miami. All of them are going to be on the field at some point, okay? Some more than others, but they're not going to get 10 snaps a game. They're going to be playing. That's part of the reason that they're coming. But at some point, you're going to see Cormani McClain on one side of the field, manning a corner position, and Damari Brown at 6'1". So you're talking about 6'1" and 6'2" and can move corners with length, the defensive line with speed that can get to the quarterback. That sounds like a Miami defense, guys. And like I said, he knows what it looks like, and he's building it that way. So I'm excited. Keep those notifications on tomorrow. Whoever you follow on Twitter, Gabby Urrutia, who's always on this show, is going to be coming out with some content. State of the U, they're going to be doing good with putting out content. Anytime there's a commit, they're going to go ahead and tweet it. And then at the end of the day, look out for the press conference that's going to be on the University of Miami Twitter page. They're going to go ahead and stream that as they always do every year. And Coach Cristobal will break down every single signee. So the action starts tomorrow at 7 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. The faxes start rolling in. We're still using fax machines in 2022. That's crazy. I mean, what happened to just scanning the letter of commitment from your phone? Like, there's scan apps. I can't believe that we're still using fax machines for that. But in any event, guys, I'm 10 minutes over from what I want to be here on. Thanks for listening, tuning in. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. And if you're wondering why has Miami been so slow in the portal, they're not. Miami's working that portal. You're just going to see more action after tomorrow. And I think that's on purpose. So enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Christmas Day tomorrow. Enjoy Noche Buena for those who celebrate, Hanukkah for those who celebrate, Kwanzaa for those who celebrate, Happy New Year. I mean, I'll be on next week with Gabby Urrutia. Definitely have his insights. So everybody stay safe. Happy holidays. Go Canes.
You've been listening to the Miami Hurricanes Watch with host Mike McCoy on the Sports Talk 305 network. The Watch is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. Please subscribe to the Big O Radio Show on most platforms. Thank you for supporting the Miami Hurricanes Watch. Have a great night, Canes fans.